Okay, now let's jump into Star Trek. Okay.
Oh, Star Trek.
Because we got the Enterprise is out the view screen here behind us.
Oh, okay.
So Star Trek Picard,
yeah.
Season 3, Episode 4. What's it called?
Something about hope or something.
I'll look it up.
I don't know.
Something about hope. We don't really care.
Something about like there's light at the end of the tunnel, something like that. Well, I just watched this episode just before the show here. There was a couple parts in it that I did like, and were a little bit akin to
No-win scenario.
Discovery. Yeah.
That's what it's called. No-win scenario.
Yeah.
It's directed by Jonathan Frakes.
It's not really a spoiler, but it's a little spoiler.
You want to spoil this or not?
Picard swears in it.
That's not a spoiler.
I didn't like it. It seemed unnecessary. He was uncomfortable doing
modern
it.
Star Trek is all about swearing for some reason. Do you want to do this as spoiler-free or spoiler review?
Well, there's a spoiler, so just be careful.
Okay, spoilers.
I didn't like it as much. Last episode, they got themselves into big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And they were basically, Riker got mad at Picard and told him, "You killed us all." He gets really upset and he tells Picard to take off. And basically they're floating or being sucked into a big blob black hole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ship that was chasing them leaves because it doesn't want to get sucked into this thing. Anyway, it's like a nebula that's sucking them in.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, that's good. So now they have to find their way out. But they're giving up almost. They're just trying to expand life support as far as they can.
Are they dead out there in space?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Okay, maybe there is a point that might come to that, but they're always so geeky and coming up with solutions. They don't do that for the longest time on this episode. There's a real lull. And we find out why this new captain of the ship, the Titan, doesn't like them. We find out it's because he was at Wolf 453 or whatever. He was at the battle where Picard was Luke Curtis of Borg.
Okay.
And his ship was destroyed, and there was basically a escape pod for only 10 people, and he was picked.
I forgot about that big battle
as one of the people to escape, and everyone else had to stay behind. And so he hates Picard. So we find out that's why he really doesn't like him at all, because he's definitely he's a really kind of nasty kind of fella anyway. He's very serious and very strict. He's the kind of teacher you don't want to have. But we find out that he doesn't like him. Anyway, and there's a changeling. So that's the interesting part. We saw that last
Is it Odo?
episode. No, it's not Odo.
He's still alive, by the way.
There's a changeling on the ship, and it sabotaged the ship, and that's why it's being sucked in there. But okay, that's alright. But the fact that they kind of give up, and it's just weird, and I didn't really like that part because they normally would be working harder to find a solution to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the stupid part, and it reminded me of Discovery. Stupid stuff. Beverly Crusher thinks that the nebula is in labor and that it's having contractions because it keeps on sending out these energy pulses. Now,
why is the nebula pregnant?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
And who impregnated the nebula?
They don't ask that. That's the whole mystery of this whole thing anyway. Like, Picard is now the father of her son. This is the whole thing, too, in this episode. So he tries to get to know the son. Anyway, but the son seems kind of old.
She didn't tell him.
The guy seems kind of old. That's why he's supposed to be 23, but he looks a lot older than that. Anyway, but we don't know why they're after her son. This is why they're in trouble. These people, these really nasty people, are after her son. And we see something really different in this episode where this person that's after them cuts her hand, and the changeling is like living in her blood or something. Now, we never saw that on Deep Space Nine or anything. The changeling is like living in her, and she cuts herself, and the changeling appears and bosses her around. And the changeling, it's not that liquidy gold stuff that the changeling, it's sort of like fleshy and bloody looking.
Yeah, if it was living in her blood.
Well, that's what I thought. Then later, the changeling on the ship also runs away, and instead of being that gold-looking, goldy, shiny thing, he's also kind of like tissue-like and blood-like.
Well, it's better visual effects
I
now
guess.
Compared to when Deep Space Nine was done.
I don't know.
In the
They
90s.
could have made it shimmery and gold.
But
it would look nicer.
this changeling, is it male or female?
We don't know what it is. It's inhabited a bunch of people.
And it's inside people. Can't they just, crap it out?
Well, Seven gets it. She gets it in the end.
No.
But anyway, it's too late. They screwed the ship. Anyway, so yeah, Beverly finds out that the Nebula is pregnant or something, and they gather. Of course, it's been spitting out energy this whole time, and they would have, of course, in the normal Star Trek, already devised a plan to trap said energy. But it takes them like a half an hour of doing nothing and dying out in space to realize, oh, maybe we could catch this energy, which was lame. It was Discovery, like, if you ask me.
Maybe some of their writers went over to this show.
And they have Picard swearing in it. He says the F word. I know, it's just, like, Riker swears once in a while. That's alright, but it's just stupid. Yeah. Anyway, and in the end, the ship gives birth to squids. The Nebula gives birth to squid things.
Yeah. You want to turn that off there, please?
No, I can't. That's our child calling me. It's on mute.
So...
She can wait.
You didn't enjoy this episode?
Not really. I really enjoyed the series so far. I felt this episode was very weak in those ways.
Is this the worst episode so far this season?
I didn't like him
because this
swearing.
Was episode 4.
He doesn't swear. I didn't like the swearing, and I thought this was really dumb that the Nebula was pregnant.
Yeah, it sounds really dumb.
It does. I mean, yeah, maybe say the Nebula. It's not a nebula. It's actually like
was it knocked up by some random passing asteroid field or something?
It was more like how a squid or like eggs in the ocean would hatch and hatch into these squid-like creatures. Wasn't that it was pregnant? It was more like spiders in a clutch that released. More like that. Anyway, I thought that was dumb. They would have been trying to trap the energy right away. Mm-hmm. The rest of it was okay.
You sound really upset about this.
I am, because I was really enjoying the series. I thought this was a poor episode in those ways. I still like some parts of it, but it let me down.
Okay. I don't have any comments on it because I'm not watching this and I don't intend to. Anyone out there enjoying Star Trek Picard Season 3? We want to hear your thoughts. Did you enjoy it more or less than Christine did? Because it doesn't sound like she enjoyed it that much. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below.